Right now, the cries for help. 9 on Your Side uncovers 2 major developments in Leila Alcorn's final days. Is it safe? OTR sees 3 shootings in just 9 days.
It's something we're not happy about.
Does this spell trouble for the up-and-coming neighborhood? And what police are watching to keep you safe? Cashing in, how you could make a mint renting your house for the All-Star Game. Right now, new revelations in the death of Leila Alcorn. There are big clues left just before her death. Good evening again. Her death started a national conversation about transgender issues.
And tonight, our own Scott Wegener shows how the new findings paint a clearer picture of what the teen was going through.
Leila Alcorn's death here on Interstate 71 brought worldwide attention to the pressures felt by what was then a nearly invisible part of society. Transgendered, people who strongly identify themselves opposite of their biological sex. Leila, who was born male and named Joshua, took her own life by stepping in front of a semi because she apparently couldn't live with the conflict. For the first time, we're learning what was in a note Leila's parents found on her bed. The report revealing it simply said, "I've had enough." We also now know Leila's mother had to pull that note out of the trash to hand it over to police. Both parents told troopers Joshua, they refused to use her preferred name, had been dealing with depression during the past summer. They thought she had been improving. But there were other clues things were not going well for the 17-year-old. According to the report, police found Leila's backpack by the side of the road. In it, a laptop computer with information that she had reached out to a transgender suicide hotline before she killed herself. "I was ready to jump off the bridge next to my house that goes over I-71, she wrote during a web chat with a close friend. But I decided to call a transgender suicide hotline, and I basically cried my eyes out for a couple of hours. Scott Wegener, 9 on Your Side.
And right now, we have a lot of valuable resources on suicide prevention and transgender issues. Just head to WCPO.com.
Keeping you safe in OTR, we are on your side, asking the tough questions about what today's homicide investigation really means for you and your family. Gregory Douglas's death comes as OTR's 3rd shooting in 9 days. He was shot right near the corner of Mercer and Vine. Last Friday, a man was killed at 14th and Sycamore. And then back on the 20th, a 3rd man was shot on East McMicken. So how are police working to keep you safe in that area? 9 on Your Side's Tom McKee is live now, getting answers. Tom.
Well, Police Chief Jeffrey Blackwell says this area is no more dangerous than any other area in the city, and he points out the shooter targeted his victim, and it was not a random crime. For those reasons, the chief and the many business owners I talked to say, come on down, this neighborhood is safe.
Angela Barber spent a Sunday, Spring Wednesday, with her children at Washington Park.
I don't worry too much about coming down here with my kids.
She traveled there from Fort Thomas, fully aware of the fatal shooting on Vine Street 2 blocks away.
I can't just really shelter my kids from everything in life. That's a part of life that they're going to have to understand and deal with too.
3 over-the-Rhine shootings in 9 days, but police say year-to-date data actually shows a safer neighborhood.
This year we have 5 victims. Obviously that's something we're not happy about, but it's 4 incidents, 5 victims.
Last year we had 12, and the year before I think we had 13 or 14 at this time.
Some point to a Vine Street hotspot around the Kroger store as a possible link to shootings and other crimes. We found lots of people loitering in the area at midday.
We've beefed up our patrol there. The quality of life officers are being very impactful there. We've met with Kroger management, asked them to help us out in certain respects. They've been very, very helpful to us from that standpoint.
But will all of this keep people away from new housing and the popular bars and restaurants and shops? Josh Langdon lives in the neighborhood and says no.
I think that the momentum is definitely shifting in the right direction, and I hope people don't hear things in the news and then not want to come and check it out.
Daniel Wright owns Pontiac's, Abigail's, and the Senate in Over the Rhine, and says since the shooting wasn't random, people shouldn't worry about coming down.
We wouldn't have built 3 restaurants down here over the last 6 years and invested in this community if we didn't think that it was a safe place for people to go and eat.
Well, one thing I can point to that shows people are going to come down, Chief Blackwell and his son just came in a few minutes ago, walked across the street, having dinner at the Eagle, a show of support for the Over the Rhine. Tom McKee, 9 on Your Side, live in the Over the Rhine.
Thanks, Tom. And more on that point to show you the city's working to better OTR. We found, look at him right there, Cincinnati Mayor John Cranley and City Manager Harry Black. Moments ago, they had dinner at the Mercer. They're showing their support for the neighborhood.
And new information now, the open container bill is headed to Governor Kasich's desk. Ohio lawmakers passed the bill this afternoon, allowing cities to create areas where people could have open containers of alcohol in public. Cincinnati's been pushing to get it passed before the All-Star game. Shooter drill confusion. New evidence tonight that many people didn't know an active shooter drill at Hughes High School was only a drill. 9 on your side's John Genovese has the new 911 calls. John?
Well, several different voices are heard on these tapes, and one student barely spoke loud enough to hear, believing a gunman was somewhere on campus.
Inside Hughes High School, calls for help behind locked classroom doors.
Somebody is in our school shooting. We in a level 3 lockdown.
An active shooter drill for some feeling far too real.
Did they say actually that somebody was in there with a gun shooting?
They said active shooter.
This student heard whispering, the dispatcher,
I can't hear you,
trying to decipher.
We just heard on the announcement that there's an active shooter in the lunchroom.
Police, even a helicopter rushing to the campus. Superintendent Mary Ronan told us an announcement was made before anything took place.
This one student didn't hear the part about this is a safety drill.
But on these newly released tapes, at least 2 people didn't get the message.
We gotta leave. We gotta leave.
At the end of one call,
I'm sorry.
This male voice knowing the truth.
This is a drill. This is not an actual emergency. I apologize.
And something else, it appears the dispatcher didn't know about the drill either. Now, school officials and police insisted on Monday it was all routine and everyone was informed. They vowed, though, to communicate them more clearly in the future. Back to you guys.
Thank you, John. Hope for those hooked on heroin, a pioneering treatment here in the tri-state that's seeing an amazing success rate. 9 on your side's Jordan Burgess looks at what it means to addicts and their families.
When it comes to scars, this one was Eric's first.
I got in a bad accident, hurt my leg pretty bad.
But others soon followed.
1 minute you're taking your pain medicine as prescribed, the next minute you're taking 1 more than prescribed, and then next minute your prescription's done in 3 days. That's what happened to me.
Eventually, Eric Yoshimura turned to heroin to kill the pain from his motorcycle crash.
That's all you think about. You dream about it. You think about it 24/7, no matter what you're doing.
Eric was put in a pilot program that Warren County's been trying for heroin users. Of the 36 people in it, only 1 has relapsed since the program started more than a year ago. It includes shots of a drug known as Vivitrol, which is designed to eliminate cravings for heroin.
It buys time for them. There's nothing magical about it, but they can't get high.
Judge Robert Peeler says Vivitrol, along with probation officers and electronic home detention, gives users a chance to get clean and stay clean.
This is a perfect example. There is hope.
They are now spreading the message about the program, and so is Eric, who is 13 months clean today, is a class away from graduating college, and has learned to live with his scars.
You got to always remember what you've gone through.
And the court here just got more funding to continue its drug treatment program. As for Eric, he's spreading his message of recovery at a DARE graduation tomorrow. In Warren County, Jordan Burgess, 9 on your side.
Jordan, thank you. And coming up, voter identification.
Why some say it's needed and the exemptions the proposed bill would have. And open for rent. Many looking to cash in on this year's All-Star game, what they're doing, and how you can get in on that party.